Hello! I hope you are all doing well. Today I will share with you the recipe for Manakish, the best and most suitable option for preparing breakfast for occasions, holidays, weekends, and even regular days because it is very delicious, and everyone loves this recipe. I will share it with you today with a wonderful and delicious dough that you will never be able to give up. Look at how soft and fluffy it is on the inside. It is incredibly delicious. I promise it will be the best dough you've ever tried for these pastries. You can also use it to prepare pizza, mini pizzas, or any type of flat pastry, which usually turns out dry and hard. Look at its texture right after it comes out of the oven, and even after it sits outside, it remains soft, delicious, and fluffy. You can prepare pizzas with it, or any filling you prefer. I prepared it in varying thicknesses to give you a chance to try it in different ways. Let's start the preparation now. For the dough, you will need 1 kilogram of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 4 tablespoons of dried milk powder, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 egg, 6 tablespoons of yogurt. It adds softness and a delicious taste. Half a cup of oil, 1 tablespoon of salt, and a pinch of vinegar. Mix all the ingredients until they are well combined. You can use your hands or a mixer. If you use a mixer, start it on low until the ingredients are well combined. If you want to prepare half the quantity, which equals 500 grams of flour, you can have the ingredients, but use a whole egg for 500 grams of flour. Start adding water gradually until you get a soft, non-sticky, smooth, and pliable dough. It shouldn't be hard or dry because it won't give us the desired result. Continue kneading in this way. If you use a mixer, add water gradually to achieve the same consistency and texture, making sure it is not sticky. Continue kneading in this way. I am preparing it with a full kilogram of flour because when I make it, I do it in large quantities and store it in the freezer. When I want to use it, I just heat it a little, and it tastes as if it was baked the same day. Now we will prepare the sauce for this recipe called muhammara. Start with a cup of olive oil and 1 grated onion. Add a tablespoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of cumin, a tablespoon of tomato paste, and mix until the spices and tomatoes release their aroma. Then add 500 grams of blended tomatoes. The tomatoes should be red to give the right taste and color. Add a tablespoon of pepper paste and a tablespoon of ketchup. This sauce and filling are very delicious. You must try it. I add a pinch of salt, but not too much because too much salt can make the sauce taste too salty. Divide the sauce into 2 parts after it's cooked and has this consistency. To 1 part, add a teaspoon of sesame seeds and a teaspoon of nigella seeds, which is the traditional way to make muhammara. Leave the other part without the seeds, as most children don't like them. Now we come to the cheese filling, which I highly recommend. Use 7 cheese triangles and add 200 grams of shredded mozzarella cheese. The cheese filling will be rich. Add a tablespoon of butter, or you can use ghee instead, which is how it's made in restaurants. Add 1 egg and a very small pinch of white pepper, and mix until it reaches the right consistency for spreading. You can add nigella seeds if you want, but I prefer to sprinkle them on top. The third filling is with za'atar. Use high-quality green za'atar. Mix it with olive oil until it reaches the desired consistency for the filling. After the dough has risen and doubled in size, it is ready to be used. Keep this dough because it's a treasure. You can use it to prepare many types of pastries or pizzas. I promise this recipe will not disappoint you. For the cheese filling, I use 45 grams of dough per piece. For muhammara and za'atar fillings, I use 65 grams of dough per piece. For muhammara, roll out the dough like this. It should be slightly thick around the edges. Usually, muhammara is shaped simply like this, but you can be creative with the shapes. The classic shape is what I'm sharing. Poke holes in the dough with a fork, an essential step to prevent it from puffing up. For the za'atar manakish, shape it like this. After poking it with a fork, let it rest for 5 to 7 minutes if it's hot, or about 10 minutes if it's cold. For the sauce, add it inside the dough. We have two types of muhammara sauce, one with seeds and one without. You can add meats or any cheese you like, but typically cheese is added, while meats are optional. I sometimes add luncheon meat or sausages as kids love them. Brush the dough edges with egg, but I prefer using evaporated milk instead, as it doesn't leave an unpleasant smell. Try brushing your pastries with evaporated milk. It gives the right color since it contains sugar and concentrated milk. Preheat your oven to the highest temperature. Manakish should not stay in the oven for more than 6 minutes. Sometimes, if the oven is strong, it takes only 4 minutes to get a soft dough. One reason for dry dough is overbaking, so ensure the oven is very hot before putting the manakish in. Brush the cheese manakish and let it rise for 5 to 7 minutes if it's hot, or about 10 minutes if it's cold. Look at the delicious cheese filling. Try it as I made it for an amazing taste. If you don't like cheese triangles, you can use any cheese you prefer, but the way I made it is very delicious. Cover the pastries with a cloth to retain their softness after baking. You can store them in the freezer and reheat them when needed. They stay delicious and soft. I also made small pizzas with this dough, which are very tasty and easy to make. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share the video with your loved ones, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.